Hey y'all, so we've been talking a lot each week about how to use medicinal herbs in a culinary fashion, or you might say culinary herbs in a medicinal way. Really, all the herbs that we use in cooking began as medicinal herbs. They were used to preserve meat, they were used to purify water and make it drinkable. They were used to help with digestion. I promised a couple of weeks ago I was going to do a really simple recipe that you can do very inexpensively, okay? This is an absolute powerhouse of medicinal herbs. You can do this for, I'm going to say, certainly less than $1 a serving, okay? I've got a nice pork chop here on this dish. This is just a really good loin chop. Any kind of pork chop you like will be just fine, all right? This just happens to be a nice pork chop. What do the pork chops cost these days? $2-3 a pound at most, okay? So if you've got a family of 4, you figure this pork chop here is a third of a pound? You're feeding a family on like $3, right? So let's add to this. We're going to do an herb cured pork chop. We're going to use a bunch of medicinal herbs and a little salt and a little pepper, and let this sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'll fry it up and I'll show you that. It's just going to be absolutely beautiful. It's a delicious dish that is really inspired by the Italian tradition of porchetta. You take like a really like uncured bacon, and they put the herbs in it, they let it cure, and they slice it off and they grill it. This is one of the most delicious things you will ever taste. I mean, literally, this is like lights out, okay? And it's so simple and it's so cheap. On my little board here, let me show you my little board. This is just a little bit of cherry wood I carved. There we go. Yeah, things aren't falling off. I get it a little bit closer here. There we go. Yep. Maybe a little too bright. There we go. I think they've just adjusted there, the camera. I've got here, let's see, I've got rosemary, I got oregano, I got thyme, I got basil, I got parsley, I got some hot pepper, black pepper, salt, and a clove of garlic. Okay? You don't have to lay it all fancy out like this. Just shake it out of the containers if you like, or if you got, like I usually have, big, dried bunches of herbs hanging around, just do that. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is we're going to put the salt on. So I'm going to take my pork chop here, we'll take the salt, we'll do a little bit on there. Now see, the salt is going to like basically semi-cure this overnight, and we'll just leave it in the fridge, Salt's going to sink in. It's not going to be overly salty. I mean, that's what, a quarter teaspoon of salt for that whole pork chop. You could do more. It's only going to take up so much. We'll go ahead and put the pepper on there. That's no problem. Go ahead and put that black pepper on there. Turn it over again and use another finger. Put the black pepper on there. There we go. All right, now let's get the garlic. All right, got a clove of garlic. People make such an issue out of peeling garlic. I don't get it. People are always asking me, how do you peel garlic quickly, and how do you use garlic as if it's some kind of problem? I got one clove, so I'm going to use a paring knife. I'm going to cut the stem end off. That's it. Throw that away. Got this clove of garlic here. I'm going to sit it back down. I'm going to take the heel of my hand and go, there, garlic's done. What did that take? 5 seconds? Less? I see there's a little bad spot on the end where it started to sprout. I'll just cut that off. And garlic's done. You can do that with a whole clove. You can take the flat of your knife and do it, no problem. But you can just use the heel of your hand, just chop this up real well. No problem. And we'll go the other way. Boom. Garlic's done. Put some on that side. Get it nice and spread out. There we go. It didn't come quite. There we go. Get that nice and spread out. Flip it over again. Get the rest of the garlic on there. And that's it. Garlic's on. Garlic. Antibiotic, antiseptic. Good for digestion, good for cholesterol, good for blood pressure, anti-cancer properties. Probably the most essential herb there is garlic, actually. Now let's go ahead and get our rosemary on there. I believe this is what's on here first. We'll do a little bit of rosemary. Yep, flip it over each time. I want to get a little on each side. A little bit of rosemary. A little bit of thyme. Yeah, thyme right there. Okay, so rosemary, antiviral, antiseptic, antibiotic, good against all kinds of infections. Thyme also has thymol, antiseptic, antibiotic, antimicrobial was actually the word I was looking for. Excellent expectorant. It gets the mucus up out of your lungs, actually. These will all actually were used by our ancestors, of course, to preserve food. Let's see, oregano. We got some oregano here. A little on that side and a little on that side. There we go. Basil. Okay, basil's an interesting herb. I need to do a whole show on basil. Basil has all its great properties, good for flus and colds and all that. Our ancestors in England actually thought basil would cause snakes to grow in your head, or scorpions. They had a weird bias against basil. I don't even understand that. But we put the basil in there. Basil is wonderful stuff, of course. Good antimicrobial properties again. And parsley. Parsley, the essential herb, the essential culinary herb is parsley. Parsley is good for so many things, especially good for the bladder and kidneys and liver. Also good, all of these herbs help with indigestion. They help against bloating and flatulence and food poisoning, and that's really why our ancestors used them a lot, was because they didn't have refrigeration or anything like that. And so these herbs help protect against food poisoning. Get that garlic back on there, that piece keeps falling off. And now a little crushed red pepper. Why? Because I love red pepper. I love heat. So a little bit of red pepper. Now it does have some herbal properties. Red peppers are good for everything we just said, except indigestion, because of course red pepper can actually cause indigestion if you're not used to it. So we'll get that on there. Okay. Get everything off that board, and my fingers are just covered in it, a little bit sticky. And you know what? There's one more thing I'm going to add to that I forgot to get out of the cabinet. One sec. And there we go. A little bit of olive oil. I just like to put a little olive oil right across the top there. It just helps those herbs, kind of brings out the flavors of those herbs, helps them just kind of, there we go. Yeah, the oil just kind of pulls all those good flavors out of the herbs. Also, olive oil has a lot of good medicinal properties. I mean, it also has a lot of antioxidant properties. If I wanted to just preserve this meat in oil, I could do that. I mean, obviously not like this. Just if I leave it at room temperature like this for a few days, the oil would eventually oxidize. But yeah, if I had a crock, a jar, and I literally just wanted to preserve the meat in olive oil, it can be done. Now, modern canning guides and food safety would say no, don't do that, right? Because botulism could happen. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely it is. But let's say you were in Europe in the Middle Ages, long before we knew anything about botulism, long before we knew anything about food safety or anything like that, and you had all your meat completely submerged under olive oil. Keep for months that way in a cold climate. Of course, that's not recommended now. But anyway, same way, I mean, gosh, there's so many old ways of preserving meat. Preserved in salt, preserved in vinegar, preserved in herbs, cured, smoked, dried. Anyway, we got a beautiful pork chop here. I'll give you a little close-up of that. You can see those herbs just in the olive oil and everything just glistening on there. Where is my light? There we go. And this is just going to go in the fridge 12 to 24 hours. And tomorrow we'll fry it up. All right, talk to you tomorrow. All right, y'all, let's cook that pork chop. Now, it's been sitting in the fridge for a good, 24 hours. Actually, yeah, about 24 hours. I got a little pan here on the stove, getting it warmed up. What's the one thing that makes everything better? Well, we all know the answer to that. It's butter. So let's put some butter in the pan. You may remember that I already put some olive oil on the pork chop. So, you know, it's just going to come together. The olive oil will actually... Okay, so here's something you might need to know. Olive oil and butter have varying smoke points. That means when you cook with them, they begin to smoke or brown at a different rate. Butter has a lower smoke point than olive oil. When you combine olive oil with butter, you increase the temperature at which you can cook before the butter begins to burn and smoke. You also increase the temperature at which the olive oil begins to brown and smoke. So that's in there and it's sizzling away. All right, let me go ahead and change this camera position. Let's see if we can put it right there. There we go. All right, so here. And I guess I'll get my other camera going. And, you know, I've never actually done this before. I need to turn it down just a little bit because I can smell that butter starting to burn. There we go. You know, if this works, I'm going to switch from like one video to the other. But anyway, here you have the pork chop. You have the butter. Pork chop's going in the butter. Boom, man. Let's get all that good olive oil in there. There we go. Oops. Okay. You know, this is going to take me a while to get used to. Just got this camera recently. Really haven't even fooled around with it much. Hopefully, this will be the one I can take out in the woods and show you how to do all kinds of great stuff. Harvesting wild vegetables. There we go. Alright. Pork chops in there. Butter. I'm just going to wrap it back up. And I guess what I'll do is like film this for like a minute and turn it off, and we can do another video when it comes out of the pan, because you know what frying is. You don't need to watch it. And 3 minutes on, let's see, well I did about 4 minutes per side. It's cooked, it's good to go. Wait a minute, I got a little, there we go, I had the vent on. It's, if you're familiar with like blackening season, if you do like, you know, blackened redfish or something, the herbs will brown on here. It's perfectly well done. Should be a nice medium actually. I think we probably need a little more light in here. Let me go. There we go. And goes to this pan off the burner. And, you know, I'm going to let it rest for just about a minute. But remember, okay, so I'm going for like basically perfect medium on this. And that would be 4 minutes per side. I actually did 4 on one side, 3 on the other. So I think this is just right. This is exactly what I'm looking for. I wonder how one uses a camera and talks at the same time. This is a little difficult. But anyway, let's see if I can get in here. Alright, now of course you should always let your meat rest. By letting meat rest, the juices redistribute throughout, okay? If I cut into this now, it's going to get dry. The juices will run out because the meat is still very hot. So I'm hesitant to do that, but I don't see any reason for you to sit here staring at a pork chop for the next 10 minutes. So I am actually going to just try to take a little bit off the edge. Nice. That garlic, by the way, that garlic when it cooks, it fries up like that. It is crispy and savory and delicious. There we go. Well, let's see. Yeah, that's maybe a little more on the well done side than I would prefer. That's like a medium well. That's the way you're getting a pork chop served in a restaurant. They're not going to give you a rare pork chop by any means. So let's get a piece of this. My word, I got to get my camera angles figured out. I am like basically squatting on the floor right now. This isn't good. But anyway, this is beautiful. This is, let's see, it's going to be fire hot. Oh my gosh, let's go. Oh man, look y'all. Just fantastic. That is the best pork chop you're ever going to eat.